Hello Joyfuls! Welcome back to my channel, Joy Salva here, and you're still watching Joy Salva in Poland vlog series. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the step-by-step process on how I got here in Poland from UAE, how I got the job, and what were the struggles I faced and how I overcame those struggles. So this is just to give you an idea of what I went through. Okay, and what can you expect? But before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to click on that like and subscribe button below for future updates. Now, let's get started. June 2020, I was really thinking of applying for Poland. Well, I got that idea when a close friend of mine told me that Poland is open for factory workers. So that time I really prayed like, what company should I go for? Because I know there are a lot of scammers out there. Because before I applied for Poland, I already applied as a permanent resident for Canada. And I was already in the pool. But then after that, I was still waiting. So since I said maybe it's gonna take time or maybe it's not really for me, I took the opportunity to apply for Poland. So when I found out about PWG, since I was working in a Consulate or a telecommunication company, I have the access to the information of who owns this kind of number. So when I checked the number, it belongs to a Polish national. Then I went to their office to check if it's really legit. Then there I met Janice. She's my agent. So she told me about PWG, about the opportunities available, and then she told me much better to go for a factory worker job since there is overtime. So I was like, yay, okay, that would be nice. I might earn like 4,000 zloty. So I applied for this job, a factory worker. But at that time, I still don't know like which factory exactly. So after I got really convinced that they're real, I said, okay, I'm going to transfer the money. My first payment was 3,000 dirhams and I transferred it through bank transfer, and the bank account is under the owner's name at that time. But now you have to make sure that the bank account that you're going to transfer the money to should be under the company or the agency name, not a personal name, okay? So before I actually transferred the money, while I was in their office, I was waiting for like the folder, like pieces of papers that I usually got from other agencies, right? Because in other agencies, they will give you the complete forms. They'll give you the contract, agreement, a lot more, and it will be in a really presentable way. But PWG at that time didn't give me anything. And I was like, really? Well, I do hope that they're real. Well, why didn't they give me anything? Well, at least something to make me feel like they are real. But still, I transferred the money. So after that, I just went back to work. I just hoped and prayed that my work permit will come sooner. And it was an answered prayer. My work permit came July 29. I didn't really expect it. So of course I was so happy. That time I have another problem. My problem was my residence visa in the UAE is about to expire by September. And yeah, I waited for a month because I had to do my medical again and a lot more. So it took me a month. So that's the month of August. I patiently waited for the renewal of my visa. Then, end of August, after I received my Emirates ID, I made the second payment. They sent me a soft copy in my email for the work permit and the invoice. And I paid 3,000 again at that time. I prepared all my documents, my NOC, salary certificate, bank statement, police clearance. For the police clearance, I paid 220 through Dubai Police app. But you can get from Ministry of Interior, I think it's cheaper, or Abu Dhabi Police, So the second payment is for the processing of the visa or the Type D national visa. So it includes the documents needed from the company side, everything they will provide, the contract of mandate, and the other documents that are in Polish. September, October, there was no schedule available for Type D national visa because I think that time they were only accepting student visa. So November came and my agent told me that there is schedule already available, but of course it's for the first or those people who paid before me. Okay, so November I waited again patiently. At that time I was just enjoying my work. And then last week of November, my agent told me that I got already the schedule for the Consulate Appearance, and that was December 10. So I had my documents prepared and then I submitted to my agent. When my Consulate Appearance came, my agent told me to update my documents because documents like the salary certificate and the NOC should be valid for 1 month only. Good thing my police clearance was valid for 3 months. And I had to get my bank statement again. So the bank statement I submitted was for the 6-month statement, and I paid 26.25 dirhams in DIB for that copy alone. And at that time, I left around 1,900 in the bank account before I took the statement. My appointment was December 10 and I took the bank statement December 1. So as long as it covered the previous month, then it's totally fine. So since they asked me for the updated version of my salary certificate and my NOC, I requested again from the company. And then I also printed again the photocopy of my passport, of my visa, because they wanted it to be in original size. Because when I printed it at first, it was big. It was like zoomed in. I even took my Shenzhen picture twice. Because the first time, there's like shadow. So I asked this guy from the photo studio to reprint my picture, but then he said that they're very strict when it comes to Schengen visa. So you really have to remove the shadows and all. So you have to take another picture. So of course, I took another picture and that was like 25 dirhams for 8 pieces. And I got my passport like a week before the Consulate Appearance. I had all my documents prepared. Actually, at that time, I was really stressed. Of course, I was really nervous and a lot more, and I wanted to make sure that everything in my documents are perfect. 3 days before the appointment, we met with a staff or HR staff from PWG and she arranged the documents. Then I went to the embassy, and that time there was still no public transport. So I searched for a car lift and I paid 100 dirhams going to Abu Dhabi. And I also paid for the rapid test at the border, which was 50 dirhams, and I only paid using the card. And then I went back the next day after the appearance and I paid 100 dirhams again. Then Christmas time came. I just waited patiently, but to be honest, I was really worried. I was thinking like, yeah, I will have the visa, but what if I get denied? You know, sometimes we can't avoid the negative thoughts, right? But I really prayed for it. Every day I prayed like, Lord, thank you for your favor. I was claiming it already. And I waited and waited until it was already New Year. I said, I thought the visa will be just like 2 weeks, but why is it almost 1 month now? And I still didn't hear from any agent from PWG. I know someone who I can authorize to get my passport. So I just gave him the authorization letter and the token, which I got after my Consulate Appearance. So I just paid him 100 dirhams. He was able to deliver to me on time. So I recommended him to my friends as well. So after I got my passport and my visa, actually that was also the same time when the PWG agent Sheila told me that they wanted to have a Zoom meeting with me, and I was really worried because that was also the same time when the person I authorized to claim my passport was waiting in the consulate. At that time, I was really having like mixed emotions. I was still praying that thank you for the favor and your grace. And until such time, I received a call from him. He told me that, congratulations, Miss Joy, you have your visa. And I was so happy, but I don't want to tell my colleagues. I don't want to tell anyone. And then after 10 minutes, the PWG agent called. And then they said, congratulations, you have your visa. And I was like, I already know. Because they kept me waiting for long. If they did it earlier, I would have been really surprised. But they made me worried, that's why. And then, I didn't wait for long. I just booked my ticket. I actually went to PWG and I told them that, okay, I'm gonna book my ticket and I will sign the new contract. And at that time, it was still 7,000 without the plane ticket. So before my flight, my colleagues and I were briefed with what needs to be done once in the airport and once in the border control, what information should we give, what papers should we bring. So we then were required to have a swab test. My flight was Sunday morning. I did my swab test Friday, noontime in Mediclinic, and I paid 157.75 dirhams for that. The result was given the next day. So I prepared my things. Actually, I was preparing it already for like a week before, since my baggage allowance was only 30 kg plus the 7 hand carry. So prior to the flight, I went to Al Ansari Exchange to have my dirhams changed to Zloty. But since Zloty is not really in demand or it's not readily available, they told me to come back because they have to request it still. And then January 24 was my flight. And the travel time from Dubai to Warsaw was 6 hours only, since it's a direct flight. So while in the Dubai airport, of course, we were asked by the ground crew on what's our purpose. And then we showed them the PCR. So we passed by the immigration, but at that time, I was in the E-gate. So I just scanned my passport, they scanned my eyes, I think, and then I went inside. When I was already in the gate, there was still an immigration officer. They were checking. My date of entry to Poland was January 17, and my flight was January 24, so it was safe. But I have a colleague whose date of entry was January 25. So of course it was a day early and it's not allowed. So she was left in the airport. She had to wait for another day to enter Poland and she had to rebook her flight. And I think she paid 500 more to Emirates. So the next day was her flight from Dubai to Istanbul and then Istanbul to Warsaw. But for us, when we landed safely in Warsaw, we passed by the immigration officers. So we were asked about the address, about the work permit and the person, contact person, like that. Anyway, the agents will tell you about it, okay? So you don't have to worry. Until such time, I entered Poland. And of course, the PWG agents were waiting outside. Then we were escorted to the quarantine place for 10 days. And when it comes to food, they were the ones who did the grocery for us. Of course, the quarantine place and the food is shouldered by the applicants. Then after the quarantine, we were able to roam around Warsaw and explore some places, and then we moved to the company accommodation in Poznan. So Poznan is like 4 hours away from Warsaw. So there you have it, guys. I hope I was able to give you the information you needed when it comes to step-by-step process of my application and the struggles I faced and a lot more. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again on my next video.